Hello, all my friends. I hope you're having an outstanding, fabulous day. Thank you all for tuning in. And if you have not, please smash the subscribe. Click on the like, click on the bell, and tell your friends. And thank you for watching. Today's video is about homeowners insurance. Why? Because I just got a synopsis of my homeowners policy, and I was reading through it like I always do to see coverages and that I'm getting all these discounts, and hell, it's still $1,781 a year. So I read through it and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that. And so I figured I would share with you some things that I didn't know and some things that I did know that maybe you don't know. And so first, homeowners insurance. Read your policy. When you get paperwork in the mail, read it. Read everything. Remember, I told you this before, you shouldn't have a real low deductible and you should not make a small claim. In Maryland, you make a claim, your rates can go up. Make a couple claims, they can cancel you. It's not the same. You don't have the same kind of protection as if it was an automobile. An automobile, you can go through 10 windshields because 10 deer hit you. It would not be the same with homeowners insurance. One thing when I was reading my policy, I was making sure that some of the coverages, they go up as inflation goes up automatically. It adjusts. The rebuilding costs, the cleanup costs, and everything. And so I was just looking at it. And in Maryland, insurance companies are mandated to give you water sewer backup unless you waive it. And I always tell people, don't waive it. So do you have water sewer backup? Depending on where you live, you should, because it's not unheard of for public water or septic systems or whatever to back up. So read your policy to make sure you have the coverages. And replacement or depreciated. Do you know what kind of coverage you have? Replacement means just that. They're going to replace it. You have an Armani suit, you get a replacement Armani suit. Depreciated means how old is that suit? And so replacement coverage costs more, but it's better coverage. You have a lot of jewelry, you have furs, you have guns, and you think all of that's covered? Well, with State Farm, for me, and in general in Maryland, $1,500 per item, and I think the aggregate is like $2,750 or something. So and that's for multiple items. So if you have a ring worth more than $1,500, you're only gonna get $1,500. If you have a gun or guns, $1,500. I think the aggregate on that is $2,750 too. This is why they make you do riders. They make you do extra. They make you pay extra for what you have. And like jewelry, you have to get an appraisal. For the firearms, you had to give them serial numbers, make and model. E-bike, $300. When I called about finding out if my e-bike was covered on my insurance, my agent said, how much did it cost? And I told him, he said $300. And I was like, how much would it be to get it covered? Full value, replacement cost. It was $140 a year. And I was like, its biggest risk is being stolen. That's why I bought the kryptonite lock. And for $39.95, I got 3 years of $2,500 worth of coverage. So in 3 years, if it gets stolen, I'll get $2,500. After 3 years, the bike's not going to be worth that much anyway. So I was like, that's better than getting the insurance from State Farm. So you want to make sure that you have coverage for the items that you have in your house: computers, rings, furs, jewelry, firearms, bikes. And did you know also, believe it or not, your policy covers space junk, bears and deer. Yes, if your house is damaged from bears or deer, there's coverage. But if you have mold, no coverage. If you have foundation cracks from settlement or something, no coverage. If it's not mandated and you haven't selected it and you have a water sewer backup, no coverage. If you have a water leak, no coverage unless it's from a sudden storm or a sudden item. And if your pipes break and the house is vacant, exclude it. There's more exclusions in here than there are coverages. So you need to read your policy. There's a lot of exclusions. And there's inclusions that you might not think. Shrubs and trees and all. But again, you want to make sure, do you really want to file that claim? The other thing is, depending on where you live, in Maryland years ago, if you called up and said, hey, I think about filing a claim for blah, 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 even if you didn't file that claim, the insurance company could raise your rates, and they did. They did it to me. The Maryland legislature passed a law they cannot do that. So that's another thing to ask your agent. Hey, if I call and inquire about a claim, will my rates go up? And if your agent says, why are you asking that? Say, I watched a YouTube video from an attorney in Maryland, and he was telling me that can happen, and see what your agent says. And it all goes down to ask your agent. Believe it or not, to get, depending on what you have, this actually adds a bunch of costs. But to go from different replacement, depreciated, there's not a whole lot of difference. Your big difference comes in your value, replacement costs, rebuild cost of your structure in your home, and your deductible amount. Because if you have a low deductible, your rates are going to be noticeably higher. So I hope you got some little tidbits out of that. That's honestly the most important thing. Read your policy, ask your agent. Because unless you're an insurance agent, you're not an expert on insurance. And so you need someone to help guide you about, do I have the right coverages, and how much would it be to get? Maybe if you have a $2,000 e-bike, maybe your agents will say, oh, it's only $15 extra a year. That'd be worth it. So read your policy, ask your agent. All right, my friends, I hope you got something out of it. Just a little short video on insurance. If you have any questions, you can always text me, email me, call me. In Maryland, I will know the answer. In another state, I can help guide you to where the answer can be found, and I am happy to do that. I've had friends call me from different states throughout the country asking me legal questions and real estate questions, and I have always been able to help answer them and guide them to their source of information. So thank you again. Smash the subscribe, click on the like, click on the bell, tell your friends, and until next time, I love you all. See ya!